Alright, welcome to a new week of Forcible News. We have a couple of new themes going on now, so we'll be going through those real quick from both, once again, the Q&A from Jordan, as well as other news that's been announced by the Forcible official page, and other random themes. Before we get to that real quick, our channel here at TCG Scrubs has actually just hit 500 subscribers, so be on the lookout. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, because we're going to be doing a giveaway video pretty soon for that sort of little milestone we reached. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll be giving away, I think, a playmat, force wheel bag, and a pack of sleeves to all sort of to one grand prize winner, so be on the lookout for that. So, on to the news. The first thing, as everyone probably already noticed, they announced what the promo card and mat is going to be for the pre-release. The card is a reprint promo for Abdul from Vingolf 3. A lot of people are excited about that, especially with the scarcity of Vingolf 3 availability. So that'll be a nice, easy way to get your Abduls you need, plus a cool alternative art of him. The playmat is this right here, which is the playmat, and it shows Maribella fighting Machina, which is kind of interesting, curious to see what's going on there. And one thing to keep in mind, this Thursday is when preview starts for the next set, so spoilers and all that, so stay tuned for that. We'll be releasing a video giving you guys updates regarding that as well. If you don't keep up with that too much, we'll be doing sort of showing you guys what the promos are and doing an analysis. We're still deciding what formatting to do for that, but keep an eye out for that. So a couple of things we found out during the Q&A. Some small sort of tidbit is Jordan did confirm that there's no current plans for a reprint of Black Moonbeam. I don't know if that was ever a rumor or anything, but it's just nice to have that assurance that that won't be resurfacing. He said that's not being reprinted, or any type of card similar to that is not in the works, at least at this point in time. He said that moving forward for the next cluster, so after Lapis cluster ends and Alice rotates, when we start that new set, there's going to be less universally good cards. So cards, the example he used was Regalia, so those cards you could slot into any deck, especially things like Levitine that you pretty much have to have for a lot of decks in order to be viable. There won't be those sort of universal all-powerful cards. He said there will be powerful cards that are ruler specific, but they won't be able to be slot into any deck essentially. Their power comes from the ruler they are made for. So in the next cluster there won't be that many returning mechanics such as shift and things like that, which is interesting. I forget now off the top of my head if he said anything about new mechanics. So in this past set they sort of had new mechanics introduced. So BFA, there was the shift cards. With Vingolf they introduced Resonance, and there's another one I'm forgetting as well. But if he mentioned anything about that from the new cluster, I'll put it right here. He did say that moving forward as well, there's going to be less inconsistently useless magic stones. So the examples he gave was special magic stones that were ruler specific, that weren't dual stones. So things like Idrisil's magic stone, I forget the name of it, but his stone. The stones they were just recently printing for rulers that they print in RDE and stuff that were dual stones that you just pay life. That's not what he's referring to. He's referring to ones that you probably don't know about because we don't really see any play for him. So there won't be really many of that. And one question about the lack of special magic stones in the set, he said that's one of the reasons they're going to be more ruler specific, ruler driven. That sounds like, you'll see as I go through these news announcements, that's sort of the recurring theme, is everything is very centered on rulers, being ruler specific. But he did say that one of the two new special magic stones does have a unique ability on it that we said we've kind of seen on a magic stone before, but it's its own sort of version of it. It's not just a straightforward dual stone, so that'll be interesting to see. He did confirm in this next set, Echoes in the New World, there will be new Force Roll cards. I'm pretty excited about that. I have Million 1.0 and Million 2.0 decks that I have a lot of fun with at our locals and just in general. So I'm always happy to see more of those cards. When asked about if the Fire Starter deck is going to be sort of spell-based, aggro-based, or some other combination, he did say it's it is a hybrid of burn and your sort of traditional red deck. But he did say he's being very intentionally vague because the big part of the deck is a unique mechanic it has that he, for obvious reasons, can't go into, but that unique mechanic does inform how the rest of the deck works. When asked for a comparison between the starter decks from last cluster versus the new ones that are coming out from the next cluster as far as power level, he said the new starter decks on their own aren't going to be as powerful necessarily as the old starter decks, but they'll have a lot more support. So right off the bat, you'll get your starter deck. It might not be as strong as before, but he said starting with the very first booster box, there will be support cards for all 5 of the starter deck rulers. So because of that, off the bat, once you insert those cards, theoretically it could be as strong or stronger than the original starter decks. The example used was Feasting, but so that'll be interesting, and he once again emphasized the amount of support that the starter deck rulers and all the rulers really are getting throughout the set. In case you guys weren't aware, they're switching to every single new booster box that comes out. Instead of, I believe it's 5 rulers coming out per booster box, there's only going to be 3. And he did confirm that you're still guaranteed your 2 rulers. If you buy a booster box, you're still going to get 2. But they're scaling back to 3 rulers and increasing the amount of cards in each set to 155, so that not only will the value of certain cards increase, the overall secondary market will increase, but also the support for all the rulers will increase, and hopefully see a huge variety of rulers. When I asked him about if this sort of ruler-specific card direction they're going will impact deck variety, he says it doesn't think it will, and in fact it would increase it. But he seems sort of hesitant in some areas, and my concern was that, yeah, we'll see a large increase of deck variety in the sense that all the rulers will probably see play and be competitive because of the amount of support they have. However, each individual ruler won't have that many iterations you can really use of it, because as soon as you stray away from the cards designated for that specific ruler, it's just not as strong anymore. So that was my biggest fear. He kind of answered it, but not enough to sort of stifle that fear. So we'll see once the spoilers come out this Thursday if that fear is well placed or not. But I'm never have been a big fan of them telling you, hey, these are cards that go with this ruler. If you stray away from that, that'll hurt you. Like, I like for example, my Sylvia deck. I think I'm on the 4th iteration now, and I just like experimenting and throwing different stuff in and knowing it'll be at relatively the same power level. So we'll see. He did semi-confirm that machines will be in this upcoming Echoes of the New World set, so that's something to look forward to. It's implied by that playmat we showed earlier, but it's still cool to get the confirmation. I did ask him sort of as a side question if the chibi promos that they do for judges at GPs and such would ever, if they'll ever make a chibi promo card, even if it's like a resonator for just regular promos for us normal folks. And he says, currently no, but it's not, but probably, or his exact quote was, maybe, but probably not. And a quick update for you guys wondering, he did once again confirm that there is no current plans for a Levitine ban. However, it's worth noting that this time when people asked him about the Levitine ban, he was much more, I guess, soft about it than he was before. Before last week when asked about it, he was very direct in saying, no, that's not a big problem, we're not banning it. This week is sort of a lot softer of, well, at this current time we're not looking at banning it, but we'll see if that changes. And just his overall tone seemed like they might be aware, especially after the past couple GPs that just happened over the weekend, that there might be something there, but it could be so much that they're not looking at Levitine ban per se, but they might be looking more at Persia perhaps, because that's the thing that'll affect them in the long run, whereas Levitine's only got a couple more months left on its thing before it rotates out and moves to Wanderer, where it's already banned, so it'd be pointless to ban it at some point. So we'll see. Maybe something will happen. Probably not, but it's worth noting that the tone did seem softer. I did ask him about print quality with second runs, in case you guys haven't seen when there's a second print run of, for example, Return of the Dragon Emperor just had a second print run, the overall quality of the cards go down. Both with quality control, you'll see some cards are very nice with the dark blacks and colors, whereas others seem very faded, almost like a printer that's running low on ink. Hollows don't seem as nice, as well as textures are pretty much non-existent. The texturing, if you feel it, either is barely there, or I've seen people say that it just straight up doesn't have the texture. It almost looks like a photocopy, so it looks like there's texture on it, but there actually isn't. But he said he can't comment on it because he doesn't deal with that type of thing, but it is a concern that I hope that they fix in the future. And when asked on if there's going to be any promo materials, trial decks, that type of stuff coming for their two new card games, Architects and Casters, he did say to look out for that next month. In case you guys don't know, that's two new card games that the company Force of Will is making, separate from the Force of Will game. And so that'll be pretty interesting to see what those games are about and just find out more information about them. Now, over this past weekend, there was a Wanderer GP in Italy. So it was pretty interesting to see how that went. Apparently in Italy, Ruler's Memoria is not banned in Wanderer there like it is in the US. And I guess it's assumed that the US might follow suit and unban Ruler's Memoria in Wanderer at some point here. But it is worth noting that their top 8, none of the top 8s ran Ruler's Memoria. The top 2 players ended up being a Prisha v Prisha. So Prisha ended up taking the whole event. Even in Wanderer, Prisha is dominating that, which goes to the fact that I think that what I said before, that they might be looking at something with Prisha rather than Levantine as far as banning or errating, something along those lines. The top cards played included, the top card I believe was Stoning to Death. Other top cards were Seal of Wind and Light, Tama, and Abdul. So that was pretty interesting, and there seemed to be a pretty decent deck variety. The top 16 had about 8 or so different decks, including Alhamat and Dark Atlas and Val 3.0. So it's pretty interesting, and it's worth, I'm sure I have a picture right here sort of breaking down some of that stuff. Some other things found out in the Q&A is he did confirm that the Star Deck price range they're looking at right now is $15, which I mentioned in the last Force of Will news sounded like that's the price range they're looking for. So that's good. That'll be good for new players getting in and different things like that. He did say that when I asked him about Vingolf boxing, like the actual boxes they come in, because Vingolf 3 was a really nice quality box, the way it opened, had a magnet, and also was used for storage. It was really great. So I asked him if that's the sort of the design they're looking to do for future Vingolfs, and he said just because of the overall success of Vingolf 3, they're definitely taking that into heavy consideration. There might be some design changes for it, but that sounds like at least at minimum will be the base design. He did also say that they're going to be redesigning the booster boxes themselves, not necessarily from the ground up, but he said they're going to be really cool whatever they're doing with them. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. We asked him about Popper. If you follow our channel videos, we've uploaded 2 videos I think so far for Popper. We'll probably do more because it's a lot of fun. But we asked him just in general if games like Popper and other formats the community has come up with will receive any support from Force of Will Company. And he said as of right now, no, it might in the future, but they sort of like how it is with the community at this point in time. So that's probably for the best for now at least, but if it gains popularity, especially specific game modes, there could be something they would look for in the future. Speaking of which, he spoke on 2v2s and the support regarding that. He did say that to look for support in the next cluster going forward if that were to happen. And the way he said it just seemed like they are looking into that, and something I believe they had mentioned before, that they're going to at minimum start slightly adjusting the wording of cards. So it's more clear if you're in a 2v2 what exactly it might be referring to or targeting, things like that. So little touches like that, as well as maybe doing a ban or something like that regarding 2v2 might be some cool things to look forward to in the next cluster. Other than that, that's about all the news there is. like I said, look out for that subscriber giveaway. We'll probably be uploading that video right after this video or before. I don't know. But thanks you guys for all the support. It's been we're approaching, either approaching or we've already hit the 1 year mark. I forget now. But it's been a lot of fun. We're really enjoying it, and we're really starting to pick up steam and create more consistent quality videos right now, I think, and we're hoping to improve in the future. If you guys have any ideas or comments, you can let us know below if you're still here in the video. And yeah.